As AI advances are increasing at an exponential rate, we are going to see the world change along with it. But how will that change affect us as classical musicians? Are there risks to our profession? Will we be replaced by AI? In this video, I'm going to speak briefly about what we as classical musicians should be thinking about when it comes to the inevitable transformation brought about by AI. So, are you ready for this?
It's morphin' time.
Brontosaurus!
And don't forget that if you like this video and other videos on this channel, to hit the subscribe button and make sure that notifications are on so that you can find your way back for the next one. If you spend time on YouTube looking at videos relating to AI, then you'll know that there are many, many videos out there now warning about a huge change will soon be upon us all. While the headlines around AI in the last months have mainly concentrated on experts within the industry, sounding the alarm, there are hints of a future where, things aren't that bad. Okay, so I'm at the editing station. This is like weeks later. I want to give you now two examples, I think, which would accurately reflect, what a good future might look like. One is the McMaster University study where they discovered a antibiotic property which could end up creating a drug against a super bacteria, which is present in certain hospitals. And about 1 million people die every year from these antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Not super, but you know what I mean. So that there's, potentially one particular bacteria which is resistant to current drugs may in the future be able to be fought. And then also there's a study about, I'm pretty sure from Sweden, where it's talking about how radiologists, you need 2 radiologists in their system to confirm whether someone has a tumor or not when looking at a CT scan. And they were comparing an AI which had been trained, or an AI tool rather, that had been trained in order to spot the same things, and they were as accurate or just a little bit more accurate than 2 professional radiologists. And that's not to say radiologists aren't going to have a job anymore. It's just to say that, if it takes 2 specialists to make a diagnosis, if you can have this tool, that's going to greatly speed up the process of getting someone diagnosed so that they can be treated quicker. So that's just 2 examples, very short examples of, AI creating a good potential future. I have to say that I have been paying a lot of attention to the topic of AI since the release of ChatGPT last November. For a month, I took out a subscription so I could try GPT-4, as well as the latest version of Midjourney, and did a lot of, fooling around, generating photos on musical topics. But what has been so striking since November has been the pace at which these tools are improving. Just over half a year has passed at the time that I record this video that we are beginning to tackle with the fact that it is soon going to be impossible to tell AI-generated images, audio and music, and video from those which are created by, of, and for real people.
Psych!
Almost certainly this will be the case by, summer 2024. A good video out there explaining the impact today of AI-generated pop music on that industry has recently been done by Rick Beto, and you should certainly take a look at that. I'll put a link in the notes for you to find it. But what does AI mean for us in classical music? Well, I think there are a few things that at least we should be aware of, but overall, I'm not convinced it will change our careers drastically. But I say that with one huge caveat, and that being that the demographic most adversely affected by the introduction of LLM power tools. LLM means large language model. It's like, that's what ChatGPT is. So that demographic that's going to be hit by those tools is most likely going to be white-collar workers who coincidentally comprise a significant portion of our public. There exists a worst-case scenario where widespread layoffs across multiple sectors could potentially devastate the livelihoods of audiences in the West. Currently, models like ChatGPT are impressive, but their true value lies more in their novelty than in their practicality. Until hallucinations are solved, we are more likely to see jobs change to collaborate with AI systems rather than being replaced completely. It's a big caveat. It's something worth thinking about. But when it comes to AI being deployed in classical music, there isn't really a significant financial incentive for companies to invest in the development of AI systems capable of composing music in specific classical styles. We're just not going to be seeing that causing any havoc. The lack of a financial motivation acts as a deterrent. Okay, we're coming back to the editing station for a second. Obviously, I just said AI can't compose like a certain style. The one exception to that is from the 250th anniversary of Beethoven's birth, the festival in 2021 in Bonn. They did a performance of Beethoven's 10th Symphony. I'm going to link to you an article and YouTube links of the real-life performance of this. It's a very exceptional situation where Beethoven had died in the process of writing this 10th Symphony. And so it was unfinished. There were a number of sketches done for segments of different movements of the symphony. This team, including a bunch of researchers from Harvard and the Carillon Institute, tried to help an AI team develop a machine process to put this symphony together in a way in which maybe could have been a plausible 10th Symphony by Beethoven. So you can listen to that, figure it out for yourself. But I just want to quote one thing from an article in the Smithsonian Magazine, which is important. This is coming from the perspective of one of the people on the AI team, and he lists a number of the music scholars involved, and he says that they deciphered and transcribed the sketches from the 10th Symphony, trying to understand Beethoven's intentions, big asterisk on that. But anyway, he says, using his completed symphonies as a template, they attempted to piece together the puzzle of where the fragments of the sketches should go, which movement, which part of the movement. So what he's saying essentially is that humans had to be involved in the process, and it wasn't just make me Beethoven's 10th Symphony, go, press enter, and it composed it. No, there was a large human component into this process. So I'm going to say that I know many of you will have already been listening, would say, but Andrew, you're wrong. They already did Beethoven's 10th. No, this is a far more human-involved project, and one in which Beethoven left a lot of sketches as well. And it's not sort of write something brand new entirely as if a certain composer had did it themselves. Okay, back to the show. I would argue that classical music has already borne the brunt of technological disruption that happened over a decade ago with the collapse of the recording industry and the advent of IMSLP. Fortunately, there isn't really any incentive left to invest into new and expensive AI. Now, there may be AI tools designed to assist musicians and researchers, but if they do come, it'll take some time to appear, and they'll likely be built within academia or through open source initiatives. An interesting parallel could be drawn with partify.org, which is a free tool to make parts from digitized music scores. It's not AI, but it's incredibly useful. Inevitably, I think there will be projects aiming to utilize AI for creating modern transcriptions of manuscript works, or maybe even a Partify 2.0 where you don't have to go page by page to make sure that every line is correctly processed by the tool. These are what we might consider quality of life tools, but they wouldn't change the nature of our careers. Obviously, there is some threat, and in that, a threat to professional concert giving. But if AI ends up being a series of automated tools giving us quality of life solutions to everyday sort of annoyances, in addition to this generative image, audio, video element, I'm not so sure that we in classical music have much to be afraid of. I say that because in one way or another, we all have personally seen the consequences of living online over the past few years. If there is anything to be learned from this post-pandemic period, it's that we shouldn't take for granted real-life experiences. Today, classical music performers earn their income solely on concert giving, not CD recording. It is crucial that we continue to prioritize delivering outstanding performances for live audiences. As long as we uphold excellence in our artistry, there will always be an audience eager to witness those live performances. AI tools may help some of us reach new audiences, or at least help us with some administrative tasks. I used ChatGPT to edit some of this episode's transcript, for example. But our continued success depends on our ability to reach out to others, both on and off stage. And though it may not be comfortable, it is necessary. I hope that this video is helpful to you in some way. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to please consider supporting my online work by becoming a patron via Patreon, or by making an order via Bassoon Association. Thanks very much, and take it easy. Bye-bye.